So what are the chances of being dyslexic if dyslexia is already in the family? So it's a fantastic question, and it's something which we need to examine, because if you find that a parent has dyslexia, it may be that one of their children has dyslexia, or if a child has dyslexia, it may be that one of the parents has dyslexia, or if a child in a family has dyslexia, maybe one of that child's brothers or sisters also has dyslexia. So what are the chances? Well, if a child in a family has dyslexia, there's a roughly 49% chance, so approaching 50%, there's a roughly 49% chance that one of the parents has dyslexia, or that each of the parents has dyslexia. If a parent has dyslexia, there's a 40 to 60% chance that one of the children has dyslexia. Now, this doesn't mean that if two parents have dyslexia, there's a 100% chance, but it rises. So the chances are, if two parents have dyslexia, it's going to be more than 60%, and it's going to rise quite a lot. Of course, we've got to realise that dyslexia is polygenetic, so there's probably more than one gene associated with dyslexia, but it's not completely genetic. So dyslexic genes sort of account for something like 60 to 80% of your chances of having dyslexia. So it's not that genes are the whole story. So therefore, it's unlikely that if two parents have dyslexia, there's a 100% chance that the child has dyslexia. That's quite unlikely. But on the other hand, we do know that there's perhaps a 68% chance rising to a maybe 75% chance that if one twin has dyslexia, then the other twin, especially if it's an identical twin, will also be dyslexic. And so there's a 68 to sort of 75% chance. That's really high, by the way, for any polygenetic condition. And of course, one of the reasons that it's not a 100% chance is that there's epigenetics. So we don't know that it's simply carried in the gene structures. There may be epigenetic factors as well. Epigenetics, for those who don't know, is imagine a gene is a sentence. Well, the epigenetic factors are what you might call the punctuation in that sentence. And the punctuation can actually change the meaning of a sentence. So the epigenetic factors are things that affect the genes, but they're not themselves what you might call genetic factors. The figures aren't absolutely 100% certain either, by the way. So there was one study that showed that if a child has a near relative, or if a person has a near relative in a family, then the chances of that person being dyslexic sort of rise by 88%. And that's quite a lot. And there was another study that showed that your chances of being dyslexic rise by somewhere between 4 and 13 times. So somewhere between 4 and 13 times if you've got another close relative who's dyslexic. So what we know is that it's not absolutely certain. When we talk about the figures for dyslexia, this isn't an exact science, but it is a science. And that we have to realise that if one person in a family is dyslexic, the chances are at least one other person in that family is going to be dyslexic. And so we need to start looking out for family situations when we give someone a dyslexia diagnosis.